All right, welcome back. Everyone needs an Aquarius. We are in the building. We are in the building. We got a lot to talk about, Dom. So, what's been going on for your weekend?
As you can hear, I am recovering from a sinus infection. Um, the struggle is real, and I'm just sick of this. And today, I shared with you offline that I went on a medical podcast, where they were looking for someone to like talk about their journey through asthma. And saying it aloud, I've been very reckless with my asthma my entire life. And I'm not gonna say reckless. I would more so say careless, and that's because my issues have been like few far in between. Like my diagnosis stems from uh, a session of throwing up at the table at Red Lobster when I was a kid, and then the next day being diagnosed with asthma, and then I would have a flare up freshman year of college, no, high school, trying to run track. Then from there, like freshman and sophomore year of college, using my homegirl's inhaler. And even now as an adult, like I am just now consistently kind of on a regimen. But I learned that like the regimen that I'm on is not even enough. It's crazy. It's crazy. And it's funny. And it's not funny, but like in an interesting turn of events. Like I had a friend pass away in high school from asthma, but they had him so long. It was initially they couldn't find anything. And so that's what they settled on. Like, oh, we think he had an asthma attack.
Oh,
But
of
my
course.
friend,
You think he did?
yeah, we think he had an asthma attack, but my friend was in really good health, just was cleared to play football in high school, his senior year. So for this to happen like that, like it was just really just strange and coincidental. And yeah, I'm trying to get it together, but I learned that hey, like my hearing loss, sinuses, all of this stuff could be tied to the inflammation in my body from my asthma.
Dang.
Um, so I mean, this is just crazy. Learning such new information and just being properly educated on asthma at this big age of 38. So it was, shout out to Dr. Jamie. Like this was really insightful, and he's a black doctor. So having someone educate me and have me understand the ins and outs, it was just, I'm very grateful to have had that moment. So what about you, friend? How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm going to talk about more of that at the end of the show. I don't want to start the show off on that kind of note.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fair. That's
yeah.
fair.
So
We're
let's
not
jump.
ending the show. I feel like that's, you guys know, we're not ending the show.
No, 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 no. Yeah, before people start, yeah,
No.
no. I
And I
didn't
plug
even
the
think.
hell
I
out of
didn't
our,
even think of that. People would even be thinking that as they listen.
listen, I plugged our show and our Aquarius lifestyle on the podcast. And it made references to, well, I'm an Aquarius. So and it's so
You
funny
already
because
know.
you gotta let people know. Like, don't even try it over here.
Don't play it. Don't play no games with me.
Yes. So that was it was very dope. I'm grateful for the experience, and I'll send you the information, of course, when the episode drops. But speaking of Aquariuses,
Mhm.
or lack thereof, I found out that one of my favorite songs, "Signs of Lovemaking" by Tyrese Gibson, um, purposely did not include Aquarius. And he claims that this Aquarius did him wrong. So to that, I say, you're a Capricorn, Tyrese. You
Okay, I
are.
found a tweet. It's from 2010.
Yeah,
It says,
but
questions I always
I
get.
just came across it on a post not too long
Yeah, it
ago.
says question I always get. Why didn't you mention Aquarius in your zodiac sign? My ex was one, and I left it out on purpose. That's literally a statement.
Yes. So I'm gonna say this.
I can't find the audio.
Capricorns are very calculated, manipulative, and if you don't do it their way, they have a problem with it. And I don't really mesh that well with Capricorns, to be honest. Because if you ask me and I give you an honest opinion and then or thought or guidance, and then you do the polar opposite, and then you want to call my line and be like, well, da 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 da. I'm like, what do we have to talk about? I told you what to do. And it's not even and I told you so. I saw the future before you. You should have listened. So Tyrese did whatever that Aquarius said he did for that reason. So if you got a problem with it and you're a Capricorn and you want to have a dialogue, I got a post up about it now, and you'll see me shrugging on my page.
Yeah, look, I ain't even, like I said, I always thought it was just like it just didn't work, for the song, because it's a lot of songs where like the people it just don't work into the flow of the song.
Yeah,
when they use signs like for instance on It's Your Birthday, I don't think they say Aquarius on there either.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, the only song that I can vividly remember, actually, I think on Beyonce Signs, she doesn't have a separate line about Aquariuses. All the lines don't have all the signs, if I'm not mistaken, don't have a line. Hold on. But when she says Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Libra, Beyonce Signs lyrics. Okay, well, she says from Capricorn to Aquarius, they all got their own. They got their different minds. So yeah, that's the most we get. We got our different minds.
I mean, we're the sign with the least amount of people too.
We got some of the most influential.
No. I tell people all the time, we're killing any other sign if you come. And I know y'all want to have it. No, we got Jordan and Oprah. We ain't got to bring nobody else.
Look.
I'm just saying, if you want to play the money game, we could do that.
Kelly Rowland, Brandy, Michael B. Jordan, Anita Baker,
Lupe Fiasco,
Kick Push Coast nigga.
Yeah. I mean, and look, and we have the least amount of serial killers, which was one of our first shows that we realized.
Yep, we sure did. So, man, I'm gonna have to go black. I love Beyonce sign. Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries.
See, I gotta go. Maybe that's I need to deep dive back into what's my next Beyonce album I need to listen to? Because that was my first Beyonce album, full album, listened to the last time I did the review.
Well, yeah, I made you listen to B-Day first.
Yeah,
I said that because for me, B-Day
it's about time for me to do another. What's my next one?
I think your next Beyonce album. Oh, that's so tough. Because part of me wants you to visit Dangerously in Love, but then part of me wants you to jump to the Beyonce album. But then Lemonade is such a solid body of work.
I do Lemonade because I don't know any songs off Lemonade, I think, except for
Formation.
Run Motion.
Formation.
Yes, that's
and Formation and Low Key.
It don't flow with the album, the tone of the album, right? Like, or what the
it's the very last track.
Yeah, that's just like I thought it was like an emotional album. Why is Formation on here? It feel like
Formation when you really and you see the visual to Formation and everything, it all comes together.
Isn't it a movie with it too?
Yes. So you might.
That's so I watched the music video movie instead of the album. Listen to the album.
Yeah, I would say watch that project because that's how we all watched Lemonade. It dropped on HBO. So it was a music, movie, a musical, if you will.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Let's be politically correct. A musical.
I got my next album listened to. Bet.
Yeah, Lemonade is really good, and visually, it's really. I mean, and the words behind it. I mean, it streamed everything together. So yeah, but it's not in chronological order. If I'm not mistaken, it's not.
It's not. Okay.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe it is, but I could be. It's been a while since I saw it, and I have it. I'm gonna have to hook my DVD player up to watch it. but I do have it.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, fuck you, Tyrese. It's cool though.
It's all good, Tyrese. You can't believe you did us like that.
I know. What more do you want from me?
Yeah. Hey, but so this has been. We're gonna get into a deeper conversation about Essence Festival. The Essence Queen is indubitably Mary J. Blige, and lately people have been saying that she is just giving up, and this is an example.
Okay, she's giving us something, but yeah, that's fine.
Ooh, I just realized she ain't really singing for real because she's got her backing track doing most of the work.
Well, that's her background singers.
She got them doing most of the work.
Yeah, but if she, well, I will say this: the mic is on. There's only so much she's gonna be able to move and sing anyway.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Mary.
That's enough.
You know, this goes beyond Essence Fest. This has been, Mary was on a tour. People have been talking about
every year. She's got a tour every year.
Yeah. And everybody, which Mary has been the topic of conversation or a lack thereof, energy, engagement, don't want to be there. And is she tired or whatever? And it's clear that she does not want to be here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Mary, I went back and pulled up when Mary got divorced, and though their divorce settlement, the exact terms is sealed. It was finalized in 2018. The settlement included her paying him $30,000 per month for spousal support. While they had a prenuptial agreement, the George ordered Blige to pay despite it, though the amount was significantly less than what Isaacs initially requested. So he had asked for $129,000 per month. And then that was supposed to be, you know, because his parents were like in a home, nursing home or something, and then paying for his daughter's like school and, you know, all this at this time. But it said that this ultimately, the spousal support payments contributed to her like financial strain. So, which is why we do see her on tour. And so, yeah, and she had to cover his attorney fees.
Dang.
Yeah. So depending on how long that divorce settlement went on, she had a responsible for not only hers but his. So
is that still ongoing?
No. So the $30,000 a month were reportedly required for about 2 years.
Okay, so she up out of that.
Yeah, so but already like they already had a certain amount of debt anyway, so which sounds like she took that on as well. So she is here trying to recoup. I'm at this point, my baby just filed for bankruptcy because you tired. Like people, like we love you, girl, but also you got to play the game. And baby, file for that. We ain't gonna judge you.
And look, you said it was 2018. They got divorced. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking they probably split around 2017, right? But it was finalized 2018, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So she's been on tour every year except for COVID since then.
Yeah.
2017 Strength of a Woman tour. 2018, the Royalty tour with Nas. 2020, it wasn't one because of COVID. 2021, oh no, she wasn't one in 2021. 2022, Good Morning Gorgeous.
That album was pretty good.
Yeah, no. That was a straight album. And then she took off a couple years. I swear I feel like she went on tour in 2024, but they said the next one was for My Fans tour this year. But I feel like she was on tour last year.
I thought that tour started last year. It seemed like I'm with you. It seemed like she has been.
Yeah, I feel like she's been on tour every year. Or maybe some of them haven't been like her tours. Like maybe they've been like she does be performing every year. I feel like on a major or at least a 10-city tour.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think? I mean, she need to chill for a minute.
Yeah.
Because
and she has other business endeavors. Like I know she has her wine. She had the collaboration with Giuseppe Zanotti that sold out. And Mary's not bad in the acting scene either.
No. You remember she was in that movie with Q-Tip in it, Prison Song. That was like the first one where she played Q-Tip's mom when he was a kid.
Okay.
And it was good. I was like, Mary can act.
Yeah, Mary. It's a lot of people that should lean into that a little more, and Mary is one of them. I think I saw her.
Mudbound. She was real good in Mudbound too.
Yeah, and then what's that?
Umbrella Academy.
Huh?
Umbrella Academy.
Yes, I gotta go finish that. I have to finish that. And then she was in. I can do better by myself. What's the one with it was something a Tyler Perry film? I feel like she was in. But
I can do bad by myself.
Okay, I could be making this up though.
No, you're not.
And at some point, we're gonna have to circle back to that Tyler Perry conversation, but we ain't got to do that today.
Yeah, that ain't the place to be right now.
And mind you, do you know there's another Madea coming out called like that's like supposed to spoof Mamma Mia. Like the cover kind of looks like Mamma Mia.
Hold on, is it?
And like Strong Black Lead posted.
Is it Medea's Destination Wedding?
And I'm like, Strong Black Lead, read the fucking room, bro. Like I know, like, and you want to know the interesting now, and this is a hustle thing from Tyler, so I'm not really mad at it, but he done had shit on Prime, Netflix. BET, ain't these all competitors? Like they're not all under Viacom. You know what I mean? But more power to you for figuring out the loophole where you didn't sign a deal where you was just exclusive to somebody. You're like, well, I'm going to take this wherever. Who's going to give me the best money for this terrible script?
Yeah. I don't get this one, man. I mean, hey, y'all like it, y'all love it with the Madea films.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this this Essence Fest thing, Dom. We last year, you could check it out in our archives. We talked about Essence last year because last year people said it was a little bit too much assy at Essence Festival last year, and then this year it just feel like from everyone saying it was just totally unorganized.
Mm-hmm. And you remember last year you said something about them removing that Coca-Cola stage, and they brought it back this year.
Which was a good thing. So the great Stephanie Mills, this is the best way like to sum it up. She wrote Essence. She made it public. I'm gonna read it to everybody. Hold on. She says, "I'm writing to share my feedback following my performance at this year's Essence Festival. While I remain grateful for the opportunity to have participated, my overall experience was unfortunately marred by significant production issues that negatively impacted both my performance and the artist experience as a whole. The challenges I encountered were multifaceted and, in my view, indicative of broader organizational shortcomings. Damn. The scheduling and time management were severely lacking, creating a chaotic and stressful environment backstage. This disorganization cascaded onto the stage, impacting the flow of the event and untimely diminishing the quality of the performances. Beyond the logistical issues, the technical difficulties specifically concerning the sound system proved deeply problematic. These issues were not isolated incidents, but rather persistent problems that severely hampered my ability to deliver my performance to the best of my ability. And I understand I wasn't alone in experiencing these problems. The lack of technical preparedness is unacceptable for an event of the Essence Festival's caliber and prestige. These operational deficiencies ultimately detracted not only from the artist's performances, but more impactfully from the audience experience. The energy and excitement were repeatedly disrupted, creating a less than ideal atmosphere for attendees. The overall level of professionalism I witnessed fell far short of the standards I expected from such a highly regarded festival. I believe a comprehensive review of organizational structure and operational management is necessary to ensure that future Essence festivals run smoothly and meet the high standards associated with the brand. I sincerely hope that my feedback will be taken seriously and utilized to address these significant concerns, ensuing a vastly improved experience for both artists and attendees in the years to come. Respectfully, Stephanie Mills.
Listen, the one time it wasn't Lauryn Hill's fault that she was on late. Like, I cannot believe that I read a headline that her set was delayed until 3 a.m. Like, and people stuck around. It wasn't a lot of people.
They said it was like 500 there, mate. They said people was up.
You know, like, I cannot believe that. And she performed. They said it was a good set. But I think I have a conversation for festival culture. And we're seeing a shift in festival culture just across all throws, maybe outside of Coachella, because Coachella, I'm like, their numbers are not down too bad where they're still able to have 2 weekends. But understanding that when you have that many people in a lineup, the show needs to start at like 2 or 3 o'clock.
And you got to be going. Like, it look.
And you got and it's like
if you miss your spot, if you ain't there on your time spot, you losing your check and you ain't performing.
Exactly. Because Babyface also did not go on to
the I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a show for 80s babies who were 90s kids. If you were a No Limit soldier, then this is your show. If you believe that Cash Money is not an army but was a Navy, this is the show for you. If you and your friends ever tried to sing a song written by Escape, In Vogue, Shy, or Boyz II Men at a talent show during middle school, this is your show. The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a bunch of 80s babies talking about all the songs and things that we loved when we were kids and teenagers. So if you went to the skating rink and you were at a lock-in, this is the show for you. If you think that Tevin Campbell was the original Prince of R&B, this is the show for you. If you don't understand the conflict between Monica and Brandy, but you're kind of on Monica's side and understand why Brandy got punched, this is the show for you. Make sure that you tune in, subscribe, click the little subscribe link. We're here. We're going to talk about all things 90s music. This is the show for you.
Like almost midnight, and he was like, "Ooh, I'm tired, but I'm gonna thug it out." But you also have attended, like the attendance was down overall. Vendors, like the amount of vendors at the dome, all of that was down. And so, I mean, it brings my question that I posed to you last year and that I've had conversations regarding this publication offline is, what's next for Essence? I still feel that there is a huge disconnect between them and who their audience is. Like, we know Essence because Essence is like our Black Vogue. Like, we hold it so near and dear, and it's so important to us. And there were so many stories and opportunities that have been presented at the hands of this, but it seemed like it's just, even when you hear and read about stuff about Essence or people's experience, it be nigga shit. And it's like there's a lot of gatekeeping that's happening. And then it's this whole thing where it's very taboo to even critique Essence. And the thing is, it's like, we're not talking shit. We just want more and want y'all to do better. I spoke about last year how, hey, Essence doesn't know who their target audience is. Well, it seems like they had gotten it together from the standpoint of this festival, but then you guys are having Target as your sponsor when we're still enthralled in the midst of this big boycott of this company. And I found out that Target wasn't the only sponsor, but they were like the biggest sponsor that they had this year. And so, you know, and then even events surrounding Essence, it seemed to be a little chaotic. Like I saw a TikTok surrounding Juvia's place where they were giving away gift bags, and then it came back and said, oh, you got to spend money in order to get this, and then it ultimately got shut down by the fire marshal, which is a good, you know, to a certain degree, that's a good thing. But then you can't really make, you know, you really can't make the money that you was trying to make because the marshal shut it down. So I see, you know, both sides of it. We're talking about, you know, even the beef prior, like you have Mia X and Master P going back and forth with each other, which really isn't Essence fault. But I think my challenge to them is to get with a group of people, like, you know, you outsource operations where, because this is unprecedented. They've never seen anything like this happen, on top of, you know, the attendance being down and people not even wanting to go. But then you have people where they seem to kind of care more for like appearances, like, oh, these influencers were here. That's cool and whatnot. But it's also, what are y'all paying these influencers? Because the dialogue,
bring that down on the budget for them influencers.
Yeah, and then what we do know is that y'all have asked people to come and speak, and y'all want to pay them $500, and then maybe give them a discount code at a hotel, you know, and they have to pay to get there and do all these different things, where it's not enticing, like, you know, for people to even want to go or attend or show up or speak or whatever, because you're saying, oh, you get to use our name, Essence. That's cool. But this ain't 1997. Flights are $500-$600. It's the middle of summer, which means the hotels are about that. You know, they jacking up the prices that weekend too.
Mm-hmm.
So
what you can't even get them ahead of time for no good price. They just pre-jacked up.
Yes. So I think there's definitely a conversation to be had there on what to do going, you know, forward, because I've never been, and you know, I've always wanted to go to Essence. But there's nothing that's enticing, especially these last 2 years. And you can have a great lineup like y'all did this year. But why the hell is Lauryn Hill coming on at 3 a.m.? This is ridiculous.
And it wasn't even her fault this time, y'all.
And it wasn't even her fucking fault.
Surprisingly, because at first they was trying to say it was her fault, and I was like,
they was trying to, but then it was false, you know, headline.
Yeah, of course, that was the easy, funny thing to run with when it's not even the truth.
And I think back to, you know, I think a lot of these publications have to get back to basics and what made them unique and what made them pop. Because, like I told y'all last year, it's how many pages? 96. This was $9.99. Y'all see how thin that is? The September issue of Vogue is like $12 or something now, maybe. And that's full of advertisement, and it's thick as hell. But I'm like, you know, I think it's like they have to figure out a way to like come back and engage with people, because it doesn't, like, this is the last one I had, and then somehow I ended up, you know, somebody gifted me a subscription, but it wasn't like I went out and was seeking Essence, because I felt disconnected from it.
Yeah, because it got sold in what year? Around 2015 or 2016 or something?
I'm like, what's her name? Suzanne.
Then hold on.
And you know that's supposed to be Puffy Godmama.
Yeah, that's how he was being there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's Susan Taylor.
Yeah, Susan Taylor.
Yeah, so she was the
when she leave?
2000.
And I ain't gonna say it ain't been good since 2000. That's not fair to say. I'm not gonna say that.
No, but
it was a different essence where it was still coveted. Huh?
I feel like she was still around though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and she might have been editor-in-chief emeritus.
Oh, okay, hold on. She was promoted to publication director in 2000. She left the magazine in 2008. Fully.
Okay. But you know, I remember Susan Taylor, and I don't know if they do that. I'm looking. But every issue, nope, they don't do it. Every issue okay, they do have the editor's letter. So as of last year, the editor, chief content officer was God is Rivera. Well, they say God is Rivera. That's
what that. Oh, God is Rivera. That's the current?
Well, she was the chief content officer. I don't even know what the fuck that is. That's like something new. I've never heard of that role. But it says editor's letter, contributors, Shiona Torini. And I know Shireen.
The other period that was pretty decent for Essence was that the woman Angela Burt Murray, that 05 to 2010 era that she was in. That was I feel like when Essence was like been able to still move and shake even in a new digital world.
Yeah,
she got that going.
Yeah, and then they have so chief executive officer was, as of last year, this was March, April, Caroline Wagner. Chief revenue officer Pauline Malcolm Thornton. Chief content officer is God is Rivera. Chief of staff Barku Tubman Zawola.
Oh wow, Zawola.
Senior lifestyle editor Victoria Wummaroji. If I said your name wrong, I'm so sorry. Editors at large is Rosemary Robotham and Mickey Taylor.
Huh.
So it's like not really an editor-in-chief. It's VP Content EV and Senior Content Director ECI is Nandi Howard. So I don't know, but like it's weird because like when the socials sometimes don't correlate with the viewer or reader. And I said that last year. And so I'm like, and then I found out who it was. I mean, at an event. And I was like, that makes sense. This is how this is like this. And I'm wondering if there's like a lack, like I've spoken to someone about this, like from the perspective of and this is just an example of like the church that I grew up in and the drop in membership, all this different stuff. And I was like, that post-boomer generation did so much gatekeeping and not for the greater good. And they didn't do a good job ushering in, your generation, my generation, because like we're millennials. Mm-hmm. And so we're trying to figure it out. And I also kind of almost feel like they kind of skipped over us and went to the next crowd as where they should have been ushering us in to take the reins.
Oh, because it got so desperate for them that they had to. Because we didn't get the younger people that were the people that we need to be coming up and getting their people on board. But we got to go straight to Cardi B. Like,
yeah, I mean, and I'll say Cardi B is probably more of my generation because how old is she?
Cardi B might just be 30.
Yeah, I was like, I just thought about that because she was much younger than me.
She's 32.
Yeah, but appears older, so not drastically younger than me.
But she's still generation Y though, I think.
Yeah. So I think that's the disconnect with like a lot of these brands.
Generation Z. She's Generation Z.
No, yeah, the generation before you would be Y.
No, X.
What
They took Generation Y out. That's basically millennial.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I thought Y was like, because it was a weird thing.
X, Y, and then Z. So that's why Generation Z is the one after. They just replaced the Y. It used to be Generation Y, but they changed it to millennial.
Okay. And we're going to talk about how the boomers have fucked up a lot of shit. Excuse me, for us, like kind of in general and like post-boomer era. And I think, which is ultimately how we get here today, because, and when we talk about, I know there's been conversations about, we need to, start gatekeeping certain things. I was like, yeah, there's certain recipes that should be gatekept. But I think ultimately there's a disconnect amongst, and I'm not going in on Essence. It's a lot. Like, I mean, look, Anna Wintour's just now stepping down at Vogue. She has been in that role pretty much the entire time I've been alive.
Damn.
So it is time, for a new breed of Vogue. Like Vogue used to, and I'm not like, Vogue is full of nothing but advertisement. It's the same thing with and Essence is not as bad, but it's like, what is your mission statement? Going back to that. And does this reflect that mission statement at this point in time? We can't be like, why y'all posting about housewives and different? That's fucking weird. That's weird to me. And call me old school, but also we are formally trained journalists.
That's the difference.
I'm broadcasting, so we're formally trained, and we talk about that across all platforms where you see people that have done the work that are not recognized, not offer opportunities because they don't have 100,000 followers, and then you wondering why some bitch at the fucking AP is trying to rush fucking Babyface also as if he's a non-factor for Chapel Roan. And I like Chapel Roan. I like some of the songs.
My daughter loves her.
But you have issues like that. You have false headlines that are consistently happen. And we used to be a classy society. And now we have this, where it was like, y'all finally got the lineup right, but then y'all forgot the logistics part of running a fucking festival. Y'all know half of them people down there is like 45 and up. We going to sleep at 9 o'clock. We're tired. We're dehydrated from drinking all up and down Bourbon Street all goddamn day.
And I might have messed around and had to get on this flight though at 10, 11 in the morning too.
Probably 6 a.m. depending on the coast that you're on.
Yeah.
To maximize your day. So that's what I mean. I'm like, how of all the things, like y'all heard the complaints last year. Y'all bought back the Super Lounge. You had Escape, all these other people performing. You had Lucky Day performing. Mario performed somewhere. You had King and Disney, all these people there. And then y'all forgot the logistical operational side of things, which is the key element in getting this going. Where y'all do because y'all wanted to pay some influencers. Y'all wanted Essence to look good, but then the shit really hit the fan and they are dragging y'all on the TikTok.
But that's the thing though, man. Like they're worried about I don't know what their remedy could be. It needs to be honestly, And this may sound crazy. They may need to give it over to like somebody like Rock Nation or somebody to run that shit, like they did the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like what, because you said earlier about like a consultant or something. Yo, Rock Nation, why don't y'all help us get this shit back on right?
Yeah. Just to me, that's the only thing that makes sense. You know, I'm like, how can y'all recover from this where y'all really
maybe
are
you can get Beyonce to perform there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. And what's really like what would entice people to come back next year? Because
I think if people heard Rock Nation was going to be running the concert portion of that, they would immediately have sales. Immediately.
Yeah.
It would immediately sell out that portion. Now they would have to make sure all the other stuff like the booths, they would have to get that together. But I'm talking about the
but that's the easy sell right there. We have Rock Nation coming in this year.
So the vendors
they're running the festival aspect of it. We got Johnny Gill, Bobby Brown. You know, I mean, they already did a new edition thing. But look, they got your thing, Brown to Brown. You know, performing. So in so many ways, but that's ultimately I think actually Essence, that's a great idea. Call Jay-Z and have him figure it the fuck out.
Yep. And I know people may be like, oh man, like, Jay-Z can't.
I'm like, it can't go from what the girl say, it went from worse to worse side. That new like there's no way. It's no way. When I saw the lineup, I was like, dang, like maybe I wish I would have, went this year, invested the time to go. And then I was like, then hear what happened. I said, well, my intuition said, don't do it. And I'm glad I followed my right mind.
I'm just saying, go ahead and get it. Get the Jay-Z Rock Nation thing. Or if you don't do Rock Nation, you got to do Rock Nation. That's the only thing that's gonna be able to fix this. I think where immediately sponsors will be coming in. Immediately, people would be signing up for it. Now I don't know how much y'all want to pay them or what y'all gonna have to do.
But then give them a percentage of and stop being fucking cheap. Because I'm trying to see what is some of the backlash. Outside of Essence Festival faces backlash over amid DEI. Because they've had, and here's they've had an ongoing partnership with them. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what contractually they agreed to. That's also a key factor. But
so Essence
and you said what?
So in 2023, the concert generated $316 million for the area economy. I can't get the numbers for the actual what Essence made.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to get. Essence.
And then they had issues with the Super Lounge because they posted, hey, we didn't get the Super Lounge right this time. This year, we reintroduced our Super Lounge experience. Was it confusing? Yes. Did we get it right? No. And the frustration? Fair. So let's discuss the issue. Due to ongoing renovations at the Caesars Superdome, many of the original Super Lounge spaces were no longer available. Rather than scale back, we reintroduced Super Lounge as a premium lounge experience. This is all part of an intentional evolution of the experience. Unfortunately, we missed the mark. We hear you, and next year we are committed to clearer and earlier communication, so every moment feels just as intentional as the culture we're celebrating. All ticket holders can still catch specially curated Super Lounge moments on the main stage inside the Superdome. This is not funny, but Essence, y'all telling me that y'all didn't know until y'all got there that this space was not going to be available to y'all?
I don't know. This is I'm trying to find like their so.
Oh, that's what they did say. They said for the the Target thing that they're under contract. So
Okay.
I figured as much. I'm like, yeah. Because y'all can't be that dumb for real. But honestly, after the Super Lounge thing, y'all might be done for real.
I'm telling you, Jay-Z, Rock Nation, or maybe you need to get Live Nation even, or maybe get them involved, like one of those big ones,
that know how to handle that. Because I'm like, how was last year? And I'm not gonna say it was smooth selling, but it was smooth selling. And then y'all just have this disastrous year where you have Lauryn Hill going on at 3. That is still crazy to me.
3 a.m. is egregious. I would have been gone.
And the fact that she even came out, I would have been like, no, y'all gonna pay me. I'm not coming out.
No, people already say I come late.
And like, y'all not paying me enough anyway to do this.
All right, so you want to jump into some LA club drama. I'm gonna play this video. You got a little bit you wanted to commented on this here from this young lady here.
Hey guys, so this is why I won't be going to Harrods in West Hollywood anymore as a dark-skinned woman in Los Angeles, California. I've never actually experienced this at this establishment ever in my 12 and a half years of living in LA. I was quite frankly shocked, flabbergasted, but this is reality, this is reality. Whoever Rob is, that man's who's able to come in and come out at Harriet's rooftop, you should be fired. You should actually be ashamed of yourself on how you treated my friend and I. Why you didn't let us in for no apparent reason, I don't know. Why you wanted us to pay $100 a piece to get in, yet you let other girls in prior to us is crazy. And mind you, I was standing there for over an hour trying to get in. And I was going to Harriet's because I was invited and they had tables or whatever. I said their names at the door so we can go up. They're like, oh no, I don't know that name. Gave them another name. Oh, they left, but they're upstairs. Rob, the person at the door, he continued to let girls in as my friend and I are standing there. Just continue to let girls in. At one point, they're like, oh, we're closed, to make people, want to leave. But I stood my ground. Some other girls stood their ground, but he let girls who were of lighter skin complected, who had big titty, big lips, big booty in, Hispanic women in. But the girls that look like me, there are a few of them that look like me. He did not let them in. At one point, they're like, yeah, tell them to come down, come get you. He did that. Oh, they can't go up. Oh, we got to charge them $100 a piece. But then continue to let girls in that didn't know anybody, that didn't have a table upstairs. But my friend and I, who were very classy, very fine, brown-skinned women, dark-skinned women, dark-skinned black women, couldn't get in. And I was just so flabbergasted at how we were treated. Like, what? So at one point, my friend and I walked away and we're like, okay, whatever, we're not gonna get in. Cool, whatever. So I guess one of the promoters, talked to my friend and she was like, Ninja, come back. So, okay, I'm like, okay, cool. We walked back. Mind you, the promoter is someone that shops at my store. I'm like, you don't remember me? You shop at my store? And he's like, oh my God, that's you. Because I be looking completely different. And anyways, and he was like, oh, that's you. Oh, I love your store. I love the store you shop. Cool, whatever, chop. He's like, I'm gonna get y'all in. This nigga couldn't even get us in. He couldn't even get us in. And I'm just like, what? He kept saying to this person named Rob, hey, I'm trying to let these two girls in. Like, he kept pointing to us, and it was a no. While Rob continued to let more people in. At one point, a big black man came in. I think his name was Rob too. I don't know what he was, but he was cool with the Rob. He let him in and he was like, oh, you with anybody? He was like, no. But he was like, let these girls in. It was like 8 girls that they let in, but they didn't let us in. Ain't that crazy? I'm not dressed like a whore. I'm very cute. I have a black top on, jeans. Very simple, very modest, but very sexy and fine. And I couldn't get let in. Me and my friend couldn't get let in. When I tell you I will never go back to Harriet's again, I don't give a fuck who was there and who was inviting me. I'm never going back again. I would, And Rob, whoever you are, you're going to get yours.
All right, Dom.
Oh, Robbie.
So you know all this.
I have had experiences similar to that, where he has worked throughout Hollywood. And my key thing to navigate in Hollywood has always been, who do y'all know? Who is at the rope? Who is getting us in?
Before you go. Because I'm not going out if it's no guarantee. I don't want to play line games with people. And people will just be weird. And Harriet's is so interesting, like weird setup anyway. So it's at like I think it's called like One Hotel or something. And then you like go through this jungle pretty much to even get there. And then you have to take an elevator up. So of course they're like at the elevator with the setup. And this is crazy that you asking people for money. Like there's no cashier. Certain parts, like there's only been like a few clubs that I've been to were one in Hollywood where I've ever even paid. And that was mainly Supper Club. Maybe one time at Supper Club because they had a coat check. And then this club that used to also exist called Playhouse. And you will know somebody at the rope and they'll move that rope, but then you still got to pay because you got to pass that cashier. But that is so few far in between unless you go into somewhere like Hole in Wall where it's like $10 or something to get in, right? Mm-hmm. Because they make, they 300% markup on them drinks. You paying like $15-$20 for one drink, maybe $25 depending on what it is, up. So they're not making money off the door. So, I remember going to when we had One Oak out here, and this is like not too much longer after it opened. And I know that One Oak has been the center of controversy. Like, I know like at one point Amber Rose and them.
I'm Doja. They sleep. Yeah, we part of Just Posted Podcast, man. The best show on this network. Come on, check, girl.
Seriously, man. Just Posted. It's just me and Doja sitting back talking about what the fuck going on in the world and the streets.
We said labor of love. He said labor of love. I ain't say that shit. Shout out to everybody coming to watch though, man. We really appreciate y'all. Holla at y'all later.
Hey man, this nigga just tall for no reason.
I'm gone.
And he do regular jobs. Don't forget that.
Blasted One Oak for not letting her gay friend in there or whatever. And this particular night, my plug, said, oh, come out. My question is, what time we got to be there? Blah, 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 blah. What's the latest I can get there? Because my black ass love a nap. So depending on what's happening, if I'm getting that nap or not. So we go and it's him. And I was like, oh, this nigga. So, because I've seen how he's treated other people, how he does the pinpoint. They do that. Like they do that in LA. They do that in New York. All of that stuff. Like it's normal. And it's not. Like it, I've seen girls that don't look half as, good as me, not dressed as fly. Like, and when you're a black girl, and it's crazy because like, her saying that she had jeans on, for them, you're not dressed enough to go out, like you too covered. And I'm not saying her outfit was bad, but I'm like, girls that look like us, we always got to do too much, which is, like messed up. Like you just can't be like, oh, we just stumbled in here from dinner or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Like I had time to go home and change. you know, and put on a skirt or a dress or whatever. Because she was really cute. Like, that was a really attractive girl. And I saw her homegirl video too, where her homegirl was like fighting back tears because of the racism that they experienced. And so I get there, it's me and two of my coworkers, and me and like one of the other girls. And it wasn't like we was dressed bad or anything. He was trying to let in our homegirl. And like, this is no shade. Like, this is my homegirl at the time. And I swear I'm not being a jerk. Like, she had on like a leather jacket and a shirt that looked like it belonged to Prince, and like leggings and motorcycle boots. And he was letting her in. And it wasn't even like that she was like lighter or anything. He was like, oh, she could go in or whatever. Y'all gotta wait. And so I hit up my plug. I was like, Vic, you know, old dude, that's like, it's that weird, you know, motherfucker at the road. He's playing. He's like, all right, cool. I'm gonna be there in a second. Just wait for me. So like, he gets there like a little later, and he walk up, and it's like, why ain't you let my girls in? And he was like, they ain't been waiting that long, blah, 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 blah. He's like, dude, she texted me at this time. Let them in. And so we got in, and it was just like weird, but also like, I have a homeboy on several occasions that has introduced me to him.
And
so it's like, so you know, you have somebody so you can walk up and say, you know, oh, what's up? Because like, you know, if you got a name drop, you got a name drop. So I'm like, you know, you try to make somebody, he don't give a fuck. It's been like other times where it's been, he wanted to let me in, and then not like the person that I was with or whatever. And I'm just like, what is going on? Like, you can go in, but your homegirl gotta wait.
That makes
I'm
no
like,
sense.
so you think we splitting up and our bitches really splitting up?
I think they gotta be. And be like, I'm gonna go get Chris, and I'm gonna come back and get you, Dana.
But it's like, you know, like and then even at that club, we had an issue. Now, I didn't talk to him, and it was me, my brother, and my sister-in-law. Mm-hmm. And I typically, I don't go out in spaces like that with men unless they're the plug. Like unless that, like, there's something happen, like it's a guarantee. Like if we're with one of Jeff's like friends that are consistently take clients out or something, I'll go with them, and I'm like one of two chicks or something, but they know that that's like the people that he's with, like, are like clients or something, so he's entertaining them. But they wouldn't let us in. But it wasn't that guy. It was this black dude who knew my brother, and then was like, oh yeah, but apparently he got into it with like one of our other friends. And I'm like, it's two girls and a guy. Like, just let us up. And then I was like, let's just split up, because I had texted my guy like that I knew. And he was like, oh yeah, like pull up. Like, you know, what's up? Like, because I don't even go out like that, like in Hollywood anymore. And so hey, if I got somebody that's going to be good, but I know, you know, the setup, and I didn't say, oh, it's me, my brother, and my sister. Because then he probably would have been like, it might be tough. But like, the guy knew him, and so wouldn't let us up. And then his friend that we typically go out with comes in. They move the road for him right away. And he's like, well, let me go up and check. And I'm like, what are you doing? And then I'm going to come back down.
What you did? So like, what is it just him?
Like, I don't know, but it's just like, they just try to act like this club is so and I'm like, yo, it's like a mediocre ass, like rooftop with like watered down drinks that are overpriced. And y'all be trying to make it seem like it's so exclusive. And I'm like, I guess. So we left. Like, I'm like, I'm not waiting for anybody, you know, like that long or whatever. That's ridiculous. So we leave. And then the bouncer guy, the black guy, says to my brother, like, yeah, I saw that you got casted in another, like a new show. Congratulations. Nigga, I turned around and I was like, okay, shut the fuck up. Because I was like, you fat, funky cheese, rotten cheese smelling motherfucker. Like, and so then here comes a friend, but it's like all this hustle and bustle. And I'm like, yo, I'm not finna be out here looking pressed to get in any place. This is ridiculous. And then, like I said, there's no cashier. And so y'all charging people. But I think the conversation, it's time for us to have the conversation about colorism and how it plagues the entire world. Regardless of how attractive or pretty privileged that you have, people see that color first and want to act the fool. And the issue with all of this is all them light-skinned bitches that they let in and other women are going in and not saying, well, why ain't you let them in? Oh, they dark skinned or they not cute, whatever. And you should turn around and leave.
But isn't LA? That's LA's whole vibe to me. I don't expect anything.
But that's LA, but it is not just happening in LA. It's happening everywhere. That's the thing. And I'm also, like I said, hey, if they gonna do a class action suit, I got stories. But you can go through the TikTok, her friend's TikTok. I found my friend in the comments, and one of them was like, oh, when he was at Poppy, he wouldn't let me in because he said I was too fat. And my homegirl not even fat. She like just a curvy black girl.
Yeah.
And then people, you see all these complaints and stuff about him. And I'm like, you would think that
but they might be like, he doing his job.
I mean, that's what he claims to do. But I'm like, y'all looking at a class action lawsuit. Y'all looking at a discrimination suit that can shut y'all business down. Because you better believe if I get the alert, I'm like, oh yeah, that motherfucker did that.
Yeah, but that you're gonna have to have some good evidence though.
You go in the comments are right there, and someone made a really good point. They said, oh, they should have two attorneys go, a dark skin attorney and a light skin attorney. And
now that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think that'll be a dope idea to do that. And then they were like, well, actually, you did this to us. Like, you let me in, you didn't let her in, made her wait. She told you she knew somebody that had a table. And like I said, for the person to come out that has the table that you claim was gone, that they left, it was no reason for you not to let them girls in.
Yep.
And because now I'm with my homeboys and them niggas spending money.
Maybe it's a deeper issue. I just always thought the West Coast in general, besides the Bay Area, would be on that. I think
that, and it's funny you say that because I tell people all the time, the colorism is wild out here, and we think that it's a thing back home, like Midwest, down south. Oh baby, you ain't seen nothing till you've been out here.
No, I don't. I think it would be harder for a woman to find another brother that's checking for them on the West Coast. Period. Except you,
absolutely. Absolutely. And that depends on where you're going out, because you get men from other places that come here and adapt personas and what they think the LA life looks like. Versus the reality when you was back home and you was a nobody. You know what I mean? And we see
people
that
come out there and change it up. They change it up. Myself.
I've been crazy this whole time, so welcome. But I also understand and navigate things because I was taught different. I was taught at an early age that people like that exist. So when people say certain things to you, like I've had men out here say, you pretty, but I don't date black girls. Or they'll try to make it seem like you special. You're the exception to the rule because you appear and speak and act a different way than the stereotypical girls. That's
so crazy to me.
It's like, and I'm supposed to be like, yeah, come up on me. Like, let me suck your dick. No, that's not true. And I just like, I said, don't say that shit aloud to nobody else. Like, I checked that shit. I'm like, that's wild. I'm like, you need to go to therapy. And then you need to unpack why you hate your mammy. Like your mammy and your grandmammy. Because, and you'll come across some of the most beautiful black women out here too. And they're not, models or actresses or anything like that. You'll just meet them. They're a teacher. They work in finance and tech. And they just going out to have a drink or something, and somebody want to act like that at the door.
I just wouldn't expect them cats to be nothing more or less in LA.
No, it is true. But like I said, you do, you know.
I'm not saying it's not wrong.
But you become like this shit like that. But people don't understand law and policy. What I've also noticed out here, because if this was back home, definitely it's a lawsuit waiting to happen. It never happened because we know the ins and outs. You'd be surprised how people don't know the labor laws out here. People don't know simple, basic labor laws. I know I took like at my company, like the water can't be off for more than an hour. If it's more than an hour, you have to send everybody home and they have to pay you for the full day. Whether you are contract, temp agency, whatever, they have to pay you. They didn't know that. It was something that happened with the water line, and it had been like an hour. And then someone came in and said to one of the girls in Spanish to ask me, because they know I knew. Like, that was the one thing. Like, they knew I knew the laws. And I said, "Oh, they have to pay you. Doesn't matter if you are employed through the company. If you could go home and work, great. Y'all can't go home and work. Y'all don't have that capability. They got to pay you for meetings out here. If you are not scheduled to work, and you know how they be like, oh, we got a company meeting, everybody got to come in. You don't have to come in. You better schedule me for work because I'm not coming up in here."
Oh, wow.
For 45 minutes. We get to drink one alcoholic beverage on our lunch. We stretch it, but that's none of their business. What else?
Let's talk about the Austin floods, yo.
Speaking of water.
Yeah, right.
Girls, I hope they do sue. So then that can set the precedent. Because if it's money is money, all money is green. If I'm coming up here, whether my boys got a table or me and my girls are going to the bar to drink, you're gonna at least get $200 out of each person. So
yeah, you got to figure out that balance between what's considered exclusive, making it exclusive, but also being fair to pay customers as well.
Yeah.
Now the only way I think they get around it, before we even jump into it, make that shit membership only, like fucking Soho House or something.
That's fair, because people will pay for it.
Yeah, if you want it to be exclusive, maybe people pay for the exclusivity.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about an interest fee. I'm talking about like the club membership, where like you only can bring one person in literally on your guest pass.
Yep. No, that's fair. I think, and that's not a bad idea.
So man, yeah, the Austin floods. But before we jump into it, this is something crazy you sent me about how hold on, I'm just gonna play it.
Yeah, just wait.
Heard of the Mountain Dew conspiracy theory?
Mountain Dew? No, I haven't.
This one's fun.
Let's hear it.
Every time Mountain Dew makes a marketing push for a new drink or a new flavor that they have, it coincides with a world event that typically isn't that great.
That's terrifying. Let's hear it.
So Mountain Dew Code Red came out in 2001.
I know what event happened then.
3 months later, after it came out, 9/11 happened.
This is not good.
Maui burst. Right after they dropped that, 3 months later, the wildfires happened in Maui.
Wow, that's crazy.
Are you ready for this one?
Ready.
The Star Spangled Splash came out last year. Do you know who wrote the Star Spangled Banner?
George Washington.
Francis
so
Scott Key.
confident.
What bridge fell last year in Baltimore? The Francis Scott Key Bridge.
Oh.
Yes!
3 months after?
That's kind of like immediately after that one. Pitch Black. A few years ago, we had a blackout in the IT world. July 19, 2024. Various IT systems around the world experienced an outage.
Mountain Dew dropped it and it went dark.
Yes. Another one. Tropical Swirl. Crazy hurricanes that wouldn't end in Southeast America just a few months after they dropped that flavor.
They also, I just looked it up, they're dropping a Mango Rush flavor.
Yeah.
It might be a flood.
It literally might be.
And you can only get it at Little Caesars.
Ooh.
So where are the most Little Caesars, Zach?
Did you look that up?
No, but we saw one in Houston, Texas.
So you think there's going to be a flood in Houston, Texas?
There might be.
Now keep in mind, this was before they did this before the Austin situation, and it wasn't in Houston. It was in Austin.
That post came, I sent. Oh shoot, that was posted. It used to say the date that stuff was posted.
Click in the.
I know that I saw a comment from like May 7th.
Right. Okay. So
I saw. So this was posted back in May.
And
So
look at here.
I don't know. They might be on to something. And I know you have retired conspiracy theories,
Yes.
but this was too good not to share. And I love a good conspiracy theory. And you just telling me it so happens to rain cats and dogs in Texas and Austin.
Yo, and it was so fast like that. And I did what I don't think it was that many inches though. That's the crazy part.
Is Mountain Dew the new Simpsons?
Oh wow.
Because I'm just sitting here
Hold on.
wondering and trying to figure it out.
Hold on. I just want to see how much rain fell in that quick period of time. So it rose 26 feet in just 45 minutes. So it was I mean, I was saying, okay, that's saying a little bit, but it was only 6 inches to 20 inches rain. Like, that ain't a
But
whole
if
bunch.
you don't have the infrastructure,
That's true. And it's supposed to be in the floodplain area in Austin.
yeah.
That all this is
Because
going on.
Houston always floods, like regardless of what it'd be 2 inches. They'd be like, oh my God. I'm like, y'all haven't figured this out yet. Fuck you, Governor Abbott. Because this is ridiculous. This makes no sense. And then
shout out to Doge for cutting FEMA.
Yeah. And then they and I think they had one of those camps there, and then water was coming in. Oh, there's one in Florida, and they're in there like rainy season and it's hot and swampy. They're calling that camp alligator something, but water is getting into this. We're gonna call it a concentration camp because that's what them camps are. Those are concentration camps. And I think they said it was 100 people that died.
Dang. But like,
so I don't know. Mountain Dew might be, well, they not on to something, but this podcast is. I know they're just reporting the theory, but it's really.
But think about it. We cut, like, even with the situation with St. Louis with this tornado, we have all these people on the right mostly that don't believe in climate change, but it's sitting there obviously in front of us. Mm-hmm. They cut FEMA. They make cuts all these different places from Doge, and then all these disasters are happening, and you can't even really go in the field and really help out people like that.
And if I'm not mistaken, there was a siren that was also supposed to sound, and it did it.
Mm-hmm.
So people were caught out in the thunderstorm, which led to people wiping out, getting trapped. Child, I don't understand. Like, and it'd be and the people that benefit the most from like a lot of these assistance and programs are the main people hollering certain things, just like the whole thing with Medicaid, all the Medicaid that's going to be cut. And it's like, y'all literally are the ones that are going to be impacted the most. And y'all think that it's like people are out here really trying to be lazy and like freeload off the system. That is such a small percentage of people. And they're not even the people that you think. It's y'all.
Right. Like I said, it's y'all.
Like, I know so many people at this present moment that would love to have a nice, decent paying job. And we all laid off. Looking for work.
But then you got to think about all those, it's just the flooding thing was sad, man. You hear about all these kids dying. It was, I guess it was a story about a dad who was trying to hold on his kids and he wouldn't let them go. So he drowned too. Like, man.
And people have to be mindful of, you can be an avid swimmer, great at swimming, but that undercurrent gets you.
Yeah.
And that
rough, right?
Yeah, it's so rough. So it just sucks overall. And I just cannot believe that we are here in this day and age with so much buffoonery and clown shit. Just like now, all of a sudden, the Epstein list doesn't exist. It was a lie.
Right. not any and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but he didn't. He offed himself too. We've investigated that part too.
I don't believe that either. I never believed that.
Right, but that's what they told us from investigations. Now, conveniently.
I never believed. Yeah, like no, and I was one of those weird conspiracy theorists that feel like they switched his body out.
Oh, ooh, I never heard of this one. What is this?
Yeah, because they based on how they found him, and then like the image or something that was released, like if he had hung himself, he shouldn't have looked like he passed in his sleep.
I did not know about this. I never heard this.
There's a whole theory about it, and I kinda fuck with it.
You think a new conspiracy theory, Don?
I know. I'm not trying. I'm sorry. Welcome back. But I don't know. Like, it's interesting, how life has been. It's like, to quote the great days of our life, like saying through the hourglass or the days of our lives. So every day you wake up and it's like the episode get crazier and crazier. You know what life is like right now? Oh my God. Life is like an episode of Passions. Like, I don't know if you ever saw Passions on Channel 5.
Of course I did, man.
Yes. That's the United States right now.
The U.S. is passion.
Fucking Alistair, and and how like they wanted to off Sheridan, which was his fucking kid, by the way, and then how he didn't want her with Luis. Remember, Luis was the brown boy.
Yep. Now you bringing it back. I'm starting to remember Passions, like some of the stuff.
Yeah, they had Timmy, the little doll, the doll human, and Tabitha, and she was brewing up.
Does that Passion still come on?
And then I would say because they can manipulate and change shit, that's the motherfucking Supreme Court. Dang,
you said the America's Passions right now. Damn.
We Passions.
Damn.
Because I had to make it crazy. I was like, Young and the Restless be making too much sense. Bold and the Beautiful makes sense 75% of the time. I never watched All My Children or General Hospital, but I was a Channel 4 KMOV CBS soap opera girl. God and Late made sense too. But I definitely Passions.
Passions, damn. That's you came up with something on that one.
Make sure you clip that. That's gonna be the hot take.
Yeah.
That happened at around an hour and 14 minutes.
Oh man, so something else is crazy, man. Ben McLemore, St. Louis player, went to KU, drafted by the Sacramento Kings, was just convicted of a first-degree rape. First degree, not like second, third, fourth. First degree.
First degree is crazy to me.
That's like first degree is like
So
you like hit a woman over their head and like and took it from them.
I still can't believe that. Because I'm like you said, he was convicted on 3 of the 4 charges. And so the charges include and he pled not guilty, which was he was convicted of first degree rape, first degree unlawful sexual penetration, and 1 count of second degree sexual abuse, but acquitted on 1 sexual abuse charge. The trial, lasting 2.5 weeks, featured the testimony that the woman was incapacitated from heavy drinking and unable to consent, while McLemore well, I said that like the white guy. Sorry, McLemore claimed the encounter was consensual. The jury reached the verdict after closing arguments in Clarks County, where prosecutors emphasized clear evidence of rape, and the defense argued for acquittal based on mutual intoxication. 21 years old, Lake Oswego house party. Where's that? Can you pull that up?
That's in Portland, Oregon. It was at I believe Robert Covington, NBA player. It was at his house. He had to testify too against, I believe, Ben. Let me see. Hold on, Robert. Let me see. Let me see if they. Yeah. X testifies. He testifies in former teammates. Yeah. So no, he testified for the defense.
Yeah.
I mean, not for the defense, for the prosecution, I think. Hold on, let me make sure here. Hold on.
Because I would think he would be for the defense to say, no, they both was drinking. They both were incapacitated. But that's also, like, I hate to sound like that girl. You got Portland, Oregon. This sound like a white girl. So when we talk about how things look different, and y'all think y'all getting out of here without us doing Surviving Diddy after everything, oh, y'all gonna get it. But this will be an interesting conversation to have when we dive into the
oh no, he was for the defense. So I'm reading here from Robert Covington.
Like he sounds like
Robert Covington testified he saw a woman using her hand to arouse teammate Ben McLemore on the couch in his living room early on October 3rd, 2021. The woman has testified that McLemore raped her while she was incapacitated, having passed out drunk. Robert Covington stands by a diagram showing a layout of his Lake Oswego home on Cherry Lane. Robert Covington described what he called kickback parties with other Trailblazer players back in fall 2021. At his Lake Oswego home, the party for what was pretty much a whole new team was giving us space to have intimate camaraderie, time out of the public eye, he testified. Then Robert Covington testified he had a new few house rules: don't break nothing, don't burn nothing, respect my home, and his bedroom was off limits. He said people were drinking, taking Casamigos shots, smoking hookah and marijuana, playing Uno, other card games, whether new or older generation rap artists were better. They were having debates about it, looks like. Rapper comes and shows jurors how he found Ben McLemore at one point during his party, his head down and hunched over on a bench by the foyer of his Lake Oswego home. Covington said he saw tears falling from McLemore's eyes and went outside to talk to him. Ooh. He learned McLemore was upset about, loss of his younger brother, Kevin McLemore. That's right. Yep. He did die. Dude from St. Louis got in 2018 while attending college in California. Robert Covington on Wednesday, June 25th, described a party he hosted with other Blazer players. So passed out drunk. So yeah, I guess he was for the testifying for the defense. It looks like here.
Yeah. Okay. And y'all don't. Okay. Can we? I feel like we should table this. I think this will be an interesting conversation when we talk about the Diddy case.
Yeah, because this just. I'm
looking up something. And we're not saying, oh, Ben did not do this or anything. We never victim shame, blame. This is not what we doing. But I have an interesting. My mind is going. So,
I already know, and it's exactly what you think it is. You ain't gotta say it. I'm 100%. I'm not. I do not know, but I'm saying we know. It's in Portland. But that is crazy. This is crazy.
He'll be he gets sentenced tomorrow. Felonies carrying a mandatory minimum sentence of 100 months and a maximum of 20 years.
Oh, dang, Dom. They got looks like video of the woman passed out, like they took video of her. Because I'm looking at the courtroom thing here.
Mhm.
It looked like they was wilding in. They got video on sleep of the girl knocked out. Like they took the video.
Oh.
That's the part probably didn't make them look good at all. Yeah, and she is exactly what you think she is. So continue.
Interesting.
Yeah. You videotape and stuff? And
No, but I'm also same like the Diddy case. So this is really interesting. The jurors consisted of 8 men and 4 women.
So that means if 8 men thought it, boy.
That's what I'm saying.
It had I don't know if Ben did,
That's why I was like, let's table it.
But if it's 8 men that and almost all the main charges, so there must have been some egregious testimony.
Yeah, I want to do a deep dive, a deeper look into this. And then like kind of how we did the breakdown of the jurors and stuff and get a little insight. Cause like I'm with you, like definitely egregious testimony. This is just interesting.
Yeah,
and we also know that the process, like we'll talk about it as we break down everything for Surviving Diddy, but this is just crazy. And but my question is how did the prosecution determine that it was like you said, premeditated? Like that meant that for me, premeditated sounds like, oh, he went there with the intent to do this to this person or someone there. That doesn't.
Premeditation can be after he saw her, like, I'm gonna get that. That could be premeditation too.
That's but also that knowing that they, and I understand consent. No, I'm a hard person.
You get an idea if it was first degree.
Yeah, I could see if it was like you said, second or third.
But the idea they got this on, they were taking video of this girl drunk laid up on the couch and stuff too.
I think it, but did that happen?
That makes you look bad. No, it makes you look bad like we making fun of, like, so we know she's drunk. That's probably why you got jammed for the first degree, because we're making fun of you saying we know you drunk. So obviously, I know you're drunk.
So that's my thing. That's why I want to go through, like, what was the timestamp on that? What happened? Because I'm just trying to understand it. Like I'm sitting here, I
think that video gets them jammed up because if I'm taking a video and I'm knowingly, and if I'm making fun of you, look, because they don't.
On podcast, we definitely discuss healing. We discuss aspects of psychology. We discuss, like, you becoming the best you, mental wellness,
for sure,
health,
femininity, parenthood, dating,
definitely dating,
single parents. And it's from a lens of 2 psychologists, so
but also two people who grew up like with both parents, married parents, and then, like, you all know that Chloe and I are the youngest of our crews, like her siblings and my siblings. So it's from that perspective.
Looking at life through that lens. So you're gonna get a whole lot of things from us. From us being women, going through life as parents, and all of these awesome attributes. But that's womanology, the study of women.
The study of women.
They only show a video of them, like the prosecution talking about, this is the video they recorded.
So, and then this video, like you said, it had to have been before, and not
even
after.
if it was after. It's still would be messed up, because it means I knowingly am making fun of you, knowing that you are drunk.
Yeah, but the weird part, it is you reading the testimony from the teammate. it is blowing me. Like it like my mind is like, okay, well, the teammate said this, that he saw this happen, and them having an interaction, let's just say what it is, kind of sexually together.
Yeah.
Shit, like this is crazy. Like this is fucking crazy, yo.
Crazy, man.
Which sidebar, this is and I know this has nothing to do, but when we talk about consent and recording people, I said to my guy the other day, because I saw an ad for those Ray-Ban like Meta glasses or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, that's going to end up getting somebody jammed up. I said, that's going to be a problem somewhere down the line. And I already have a friend that was unknowingly recorded on someone's glasses.
While they were
while they were like hanging out, we were like dancing somewhere. And
it wasn't while y'all were intimate. They were intimate.
It wasn't intimate or anything.
Okay.
But you remember like how people would do like upskirting and things like that, like which is still a thing, weird. But I could see somewhere down the line, like especially you in Vegas, and you know you got those glasses on because it doesn't show that it's like a red light or anything going, so people are aware. And let's say you in Vegas having fun and y'all at the pool and somebody, girl going wild or boy going, I don't know, and then somebody captures that, now that's out there. Like someone has this image of you. And I'm not saying, and y'all gonna say, well, people need to be, no, like you shouldn't be recording people. And that goes back to, like you said, that getting him jammed up. Like this is crazy to me. And I'm not making an excuse for anybody, but I'm just like, why were you recording anybody?
Mm-hmm.
Why were you recording anybody? And I wonder if he sent that to somebody.
Yeah, I'm wondering, but you know what? I wonder if, like, if you know, like sometimes, I mean, I'm assuming most people have their set up that when they record a video, it automatically goes into the cloud. So I wonder if that did it. But it automatically backed itself up to the cloud. And even though he may have deleted it in his phone, it was already at Apple or through whatever.
But you know, the weird thing, what makes me think that he
sent it to somebody.
That he sent it to somebody is because Apple is very, very firm on not violating their client.
Well, I get a subpoena on a criminal case,
but they will go hard about it. They will go hard about it, about not like
it must have been sent to somebody else.
It'd be a lot to get you.
So if it was sent to somebody else, but then we both deleted it,
and then
does that open it up then?
Or you sent it to somebody saw you or whatever. That's why I was like, I wonder if he sent that to somebody that got him jammed up and like,
but would they fight for it as much? So if I send it to one of my boys and then, but they delete it too, does it double negative? I'm thinking like double negative.
Look at you making the words.
Does it open up the possibilities for Apple to be able to have them come out like they're out here sharing content, but they deleting off of their stuff that we need for it?
Yeah, I'm interested because I'm thinking of like, okay, if you pull my phone records, my text messages from around that time, that's what I'm thinking of. It's like you could have potentially sent that, but that's why I was like, hey man, like let's look into this because this will be an interesting case to follow. And I wonder if he's going to appeal, because I could see them going back to appeal that, not for first degree, but like maybe second or third.
Yeah, like you drop the first degree, like
yeah. And then him getting sentenced tomorrow, I wonder if they offer him some sort of deal.
I mean, it's too late for a deal now.
Well, now, no, you can go back. They can still negotiate because he's still his defense. They still have time to go back in and kind of talk to the prosecution and see if they can work out a deal for his sentencing, like with the judge. Because like they'll say what they believe that the terms should be versus what the prosecution is thinking. Like I think that there's a possibility for that. But this is wild. Like I'm just I feel like we always say that how your phone always will get you jammed up.
Yep, every time.
And this is not like, I'm not saying, oh, I'm making, but it's just also just being responsible. And I understand it was a dark time in his life and all these different things are happening, but we see this happen time and time again with people. Y'all got to be responsible and aware and take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Because I understand that your brother passed away and you are coping and you are using things to take, numb the pain that you're feeling. Because you were clearly going through something. Because your boy, your teammate caught you outside crying. But people gonna feel like this is judgmental, but I would even motion to say the teammate probably should have sent him home. Like, hey man, let me call you an Uber.
But you gotta remember, this is during the pandemic, so Cass was like happy to be out the crib.
Yeah, but wasn't this 2021? This 2021. We still in it, but they back playing now. It's no more bubble. So they like life is getting back to normal by this time. So that's what I'm like, hey man, because like it was even I'll hop in an Uber today and it's still somebody that got plexiglass. Like it's like I'm in a cab, But I also understand how, a homeboy was like, maybe I shouldn't send him home. He probably just need to blow some steam off and have fun and loosen up, at least for this moment. And that changed the trajectory of his life.
Like, man, because Shot Javon, he had told me, and I went to look it up. I'm like, what?
Yeah, man. A nice kid too. Nice kid. I met him several times, like, out here. But it just be unfortunate. And you know what? One of the most valuable lessons that I learned in life from my mother is look at the Z before you step into the A. And I've done, crazy things. And by the grace of God, I have been protected or, had a guardian angel or something. But it'd be some stuff where I'm like, nah, no. Because we see people get jammed up for crazy shit all the time. And that's why I was like, I'm interested in this case to see what the ins and out, what the prosecution was saying versus what the defense is saying. Because, like you said, if you had me on a camera, and that's what makes me think that the video, whatever video he had to have been before. And then for the jurors to feel like, oh, well, her groping on him and doing all this stuff did not warrant her wanting to have sex with him. But like, and a lot of men in the comments saying, hey, if you can't fully have this conversation or someone say yes or whatever, just don't do it. And that is good advice, to live by. But this is just crazy.
It's a crazy
and that's what makes me think like that video had to have been taken before whatever occurred. And it was like, this time said say this is, we believe the time frame she woke up next to between this time and this time, and yeah.
Dang, man, Ben McLemore.
And if he
man.
had cameras in his house or something, and then they had it like, well, they went in the room at this time. The video, we see him on camera, everybody joking, being silly, passing out, you know. So it's just, hey, y'all be safe out here. Ain't nothing about the game changed. It is just the year. Damn.
Man. Well, man, Dom, as we wrap up, man, I got to give a special rest in peace to my uncle who helped raise me, Kevin Woodson, passed away yesterday. Yeah, he passed away yesterday. So much I could say about him. He's an original Black cowboy, original everything, you know, in there. But I'd rather let him say it for himself. This is his documentary put together, some other brothers, called Black Cowboys. So we're gonna play it. You'll see him on there talking himself. It's the best way to describe him.
And the whole of the
That's my uncle right there. Cowboys of color, my bad.
Is a movie that stars John Wayne. It's called The Searchers. And nowhere in the movie do they tell you this, and I'm not saying they're supposed to tell you, but the point is that movie was made on the exploits of an African American cowboy.
All right, that is pretty much it. But that is my uncle, super knowledgeable man. Has so many different great things. I could talk about him, but like I said, I let the brother speak for itself. And I'll be talking about him more in the upcoming more shows and everything. But I at least wanted to get that out there and everything.
Well, I'm so sorry for your loss. And I'm just flabbergasted just because we just talked about this last week. You know what I mean? And this is just, it's just, you know, just knowing how close you were to your uncle, and you know, pretty much your uncle being such a huge pillar in your life. And so, you know, may the ancestors welcome him with open arms. And I'm sending in love to you and your family during this difficult time. And yeah, man, this is just damn.
Yeah.
So rest in peace to you.
Yeah.
And
peace to a great
for a job well done. A job well done.
All right, Don, where can people hit you up at?
You guys can find me wherever you social network at St. Angeles, and I might be dipping my toe back into the candle game.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know, I was having private, you know, clientele, and I was making some the other day. I'm filling an order for a girlfriend, and was trying to make her own unique scent. I don't know how this is gonna go when she gets it, but yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna figure out the logistics behind that and get to it. We talking about, like, you know, consistency and being great, and I'm really working on creating better habits, and that goes with creating a schedule for myself. So really, I've done that for like my homeboy, and now I have to do it for myself so I can be, you know, consistent with myself to be great. And I'll tell you something real cool offline.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, man, well, thank y'all for listening as always. We'll appreciate it. And we'll see y'all surviving Diddy as we actually wrap up this for right now.
Motherfucker.